I was sent this slider by YC Onion. It's 3 years old by now. There's also a way more modern version called the Chocolate SE slider. I could have gotten the newer one if I wanted to. I deliberately chose the milk chocolate slider for 3 reasons. Why? We'll answer that right after the intro. Wow, that's an interesting little slider. YC Onion as a slider manufacturer has been with me for roughly 2 years. I noticed them for the first time while searching for a longer slider, and I looked at their version of an 80cm one. At that specific time I needed something that was long enough for interview shoots, and I ended up going with the newer 80cm slider, mainly because of the costs and the ease of use. So I thought, well, more of that story right here in the card. Now that I hope to be able to travel again soon and my old travel slider has lost most of its battery capacity over the last 4 years of use, it's the Smarter Slider Mini, I was actually very pleased as YC Onion contacted me offering me any of the 2 sliders they currently have in their portfolio. Now, the first question I raised at the beginning of this video, I can answer directly. Why did I choose the older model, which is also, well, more expensive, and not the newer Chocolate SE slider? It's quite simple. In total, there are 3 features that are much better suited for what I need and want from a slider. Number 1, I only need one Canon LP6 battery to run it for almost 3 hours. And since my main camera is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, which devours LP6 batteries by the dozen, I have enough lying around, always fully charged. So, win-win. Number 2, a while ago I received a gimbal from Zhiyun for my B-Cam, the Sony ZV-E10, the Weebill Lab. It gets along really well with APS-C cameras, and funnily enough, the chocolate milk slider gets along really well with the Weebill Lab gimbal. So good in fact that you can combine both of them in the YC Onion app, and then tada, you have a 3-axis slider combo without much hassle. A pretty nice thing that 2 manufacturers have gotten over the differences in favor of the customer. I think this is the first time that I've ever come across a situation like this in terms of tech that is actually somehow interlinkable. And now the third reason, which is my main reason for choosing this slider over the newer version, and I guess why you should too. Number 3, the chocolate milk slider has been given the same really great function which the Slider Plus from Edelkrone or the Seppen Micro also has. When putting the slider down on the ground, it moves itself in the same length that you would expect, from left to right. Very compact, very travel friendly, long enough for small, noticeable movements in your shots. But if you have a tripod with you and put it on there, then it nearly doubles its travel length, meaning it adds about half of its length on one side of the slider and half of its length on the other. This is fantastic. Think of it this way. You have a small travel-friendly tripod with you and can then add about double the slide length to your shot with just a simple attachment to the tripod. This is really great. Compact yet long enough to take great shots. And with an APS-C camera you don't even have to support the slider on either side. It is a very well balanced construction due to the motor and the battery being on one side and the camera then when it's moved on the other side. And there are a few more standard things that I think are pretty good overall, but are more of a cool that they have included that as well thing. The app sometimes is a bit bitchy, meaning it has some connection errors and sometimes the threaded spinning ball of death is its closest friend. But once everything has been connected in itself, meaning the gimbal and the slider itself to the app, the next time you can connect your setup super quick in under 10 seconds. And now for those of you who don't feel like using an app or aren't in front of the camera yourself, you can also operate the slider directly at the push of a button. In total, there are 4 buttons. A big red one, yeah, you guessed it right, it's the on and off one. A forward button as well as a back button. And since these are only 3 buttons, strangely enough, there is also a 4th one at the top, which according to the instructions is only a decorative button without the function. Sound-wise, well, at 100% speed, it is audible, meaning you can still hear it, but not really. Otherwise, if you don't drive at 100% speed but only at, let's say, more close to 80, then it is also great for interview situations or similar filming situations with sound recordings. You hardly hear it at all. much, much better than both of my other sliders. Also, you get a bunch of extra stuff, including several cables to connect your camera for time-lapse creations, a power cord, and a actually very useful 1/4 to 3/8 attachment piece that raises your camera slightly. So overall, for the price, I think the functions and the scope and somehow the benefits are really good. And I would use the slider as I have it here in front of me without any restrictions for my video activities. Well, the last video I created is actually completely done with the slider. This is a definitive recommendation over at least those 2 other sliders that I have right now, and probably over its predecessor as well, but well, I haven't tested that yet. As always, if you have any questions regarding the slider, working with a slider, or how to actually set up one, feel free to ask me in the comments and I will try to answer it there. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Leech and I'm off writing the next scripts. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. There are plenty more of this type of content and, well, yeah, many other things available for you to watch. So, thank you very much, have a great day, see you around, and goodbye.
I just have to follow that because you don't know who you